That's great. Great tips. You mentioned something earlier about kind of the job seekers and the brutality of going to try to find a job. I want to tie that back into kind of the idea of social media, I guess more specifically LinkedIn. But as somebody who manages, kind of these social channels, how do you think people should be utilizing social media to boost their job search? And I guess a follow up on that is where do you think where do you see people missing the mark when it comes to leveraging social media in their search?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a big thing is I am a huge advocate for people owning their personal brand. And usually, when I say that to a group of people who are not in talent acquisition, that makes them cringe. And that makes them be like, oh God, what is she about to sell to me? What 6-week course is she about to sell to me? Um, and there's a lot of misconceptions about what personal branding is. I think a lot of people think it means you have to be an influencer and you have to post cringy content that you do not care about. And you have to post alpha, sigma, I wake up at 5 a.m. and take cold showers, and I only eat raw meat, and this is my life. And
I knew it,
you have to
Erin.
put out what?
I knew it. I knew that was your
Yeah,
routine.
it is. It's true. I also don't sleep. I only grind. And uh, but you don't have to do that. It's really a good way to look at social media and specifically what you want to put yourself out there in terms of your job search is to be hyper aware of the stories that you are telling with what you are putting out there. Like, say, for example, and this doesn't apply just to LinkedIn, on any social media pages that you might have, so whether it's Twitter or Instagram, make sure that what you're putting out there is exactly what you want people to know about you on a first glance. A good exercise that I always have people do is to go into, like, if you go into the My Network tab on LinkedIn and you click on the suggested influencer profiles, write down like the first word that you think of when you see these profiles. And then try to go back to your profile and think, okay, if someone else was looking at my profile, what's the first word that they would think of when they look at my profile? There's no wrong way to do a personal brand. I would say, there's unpolished ways, there's ways that might not be finalized or incomplete, which is really, really the most detrimental when it's just not looked after and there's nothing that's put into it because everyone has a personal brand. No, whether you like it or not, whether you have no profile picture and you don't post anything, that says something about you, whether we like it or not. So just making sure that that's what you want out there is what's super important. Um, but in terms of your LinkedIn profile, every single recruiter I know and that I work on behalf of checks out people's LinkedIn profiles if they are not directly sourcing from LinkedIn itself. If they're not pulling from like a third-party app to search data to gain uh candidates. So it's super important to keep your LinkedIn profile updated with stuff and posts and things that really add to your resume and maybe things that aren't something that pops on your resume. Um as much as this is awful to hear it, you are going to have a much better opportunity at getting a position from having a recruiter reach out to you than if you are cold applying on a website, especially if it's a big company. Because a lot of positions, this isn't just at my company, but it's everywhere. Some positions get up to 2,000 applicants. And if you are not in like the first wave of that, it's not even your fault. It's just that there's maybe one recruiter who doesn't just physically does not have time to go comb through every single applicant and maybe put you in for put you into the, even if it's not for that position, the contact later position. At least at Blizzard, we don't really use an ATS system. A lot of our applications are just gone through by hand. So it's a lot of work that people put into reviewing our applicants. So making sure that making a recruiter's job as easy as possible will
Yeah.
get you very far. Another thing I like to suggest is to just not worry about likes on your posts. And I know that sucks, and I know it's hard, and I know it's very difficult to put yourself out there and see that your post got 10 likes. Because you're like, I spent all this time on it, I took all these pictures. As long as something that you are passionate about um adds to your experience and your credentials, just lives on your profile, that could be a super helpful tool in your job search going forward, even if it only gets 10 likes. Like, for
Right.
example, a big thing when I got my current position is I frequently posted pictures of my photography. They got like 10 likes. But because of that, and it wasn't something that was directly referenced on my resume, that's why I got asked to interview for my current position.
Wow.
Yeah. That's so true. I think when you touched on the creating content, and then not getting beat up over the lack of attention, because you scroll the feed, and there's the superstars out there, and there's people that are doing really, really well, and kudos to them. But then when you're just kind of getting into the game, and it's very much like gaming. There's probably a few gamers that will watch this, so we'll use this as an analogy, but it's very much like gaming. Like, I was really big into, World of Warcraft for a while. And when I started off, like, you're terrible. Like, you're shocking at it. You're level 1, and your buddies and the people that you're playing with got like everything, every skin, every piece of equipment. And it's like that on social media. When you first get going, of course, your content's going to get 3 likes. You're a level 1 content creator, surrounded by the superstars, but you just got to keep going. And then, like you said, there may be one thing that a recruiter like us sees, that only had 3 likes, but to us, it's super, super relevant to the role that we're looking at, or maybe it fills in a blank on your resume, connects the dots on your resume. And so, yeah, that's a really good point you made.
Yeah. Another thing I would say in terms of like not beating yourself up, at least when you're first starting, is don't fight yourself on what medium you're creating in. Like, if you are not comfortable on video, you do not have to make videos, even if everyone's talking about how TikTok is the next second coming of Messiah of social media. You do not have to be on TikTok. Like, if you are not
all about Threads.
yeah, Threads is okay. Threads is fun. But it's again, if you do not like short form writing for whatever reason, that's just not your strong suit. You don't have to be on Threads. You don't have to be on Twitter. If you don't like being on live video, you don't have to stream. You don't have to be on Twitch or Kick or whatever is happening right now. If video editing is super hard for you, you don't have to be on YouTube. Just like finding what medium works for you will help you a lot in the long term, because if you don't genuinely like what you're creating and you don't see success from it immediately, you're going to burn yourself out and you're going to think content creation isn't for you, specifically. And this has happened to me multiple times. So I always talk about this. It's funny. We actually just launched the Blizzard TikTok. Follow it if you're watching this. I'm very proud of it. I put a lot of work into it. But I cannot have TikTok on my phone. Like, I refuse. That's my boundary. With my team, I will do more work on the videos. I will do more work in creating my ideas. I cannot have TikTok on my phone. It is like poison to me, because the thing is, LinkedIn, and the reason why LinkedIn is my favorite social media platform is because it prioritizes content that focuses on learning and inspiration. So it's a very positive area. So even when I'm waiting for like my post to hit the algorithm, which it does almost immediately, LinkedIn sends posts into the algorithm almost immediately. And when I do that, I'm scrolling and I'm waiting for comments to come in so I can talk to people that are in my comment section, because I like engaging with my community. I'm seeing tips for self-improvement and reading about people's great stories. And sometimes I'll see like job seekers who really are asking for help, but it's mostly people who want others to improve or sharing very innovative thoughts, and that's helped me a lot. Whereas on TikTok, it prioritizes what will get people's attention for the longest amount of time possible. So it will show me things that are objectively very, very bad for me and like put me in a really negative headspace while I'm waiting to see how my video is performing. And sometimes it doesn't hit the algorithm for several hours. Uh, and
Right.
I'm just like sitting there anxiously waiting to see, will the TikTok roulette let me know if my video got 100,000 views or 300 views. And it feels like it's a roulette wheel, so it's just not healthy for me.
I'm the same. That's why I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn. Like you know, you Andrew might be a little different. He posts more pictures than I do, but even Andrew's the same as me. We do like to write and advise and share stuff like that. But we've talked about this before off camera, but like I don't like posting pictures. I don't like posting selfies. I just don't. And so I found my medium to be words. And at the start, that was hard because for a while the algorithm really rewarded pictures. And it with the we won't go down that rabbit hole, but it's yeah, it's you bring up some really salient points and just finding your medium, finding what you're comfortable with. Because at the end of the day, we talk about content fatigue. If you're doing this every few days or every week for how long, if you're already tired and it's a struggle and it's arduous day one, you are not going to and like any habit, you're not going to be able to sustain. So find what you're comfortable with, find what you enjoy, and you'll be able to stick it out.